Hello, everyone. My name is Taryn Dube, and I really want to welcome you and say thank you for making the time to come to today's masterclass. As you can see, the title for today's class is Limitless Dreams. This is the 5-step strategy that my clients use to end overwhelm, to push for their dream, the ability to scale their business, their career, and their relationships from a place of rest without compromising their momentum or giving up everything that they've accomplished so far. So before we jump in, I just want you to grab a pen and paper. I know you are probably really used to webinars where there is a ton of preamble and a bunch of other stuff. We're just going to be diving into some great content right off the bat, and I don't want you to miss anything. So let me honor your time and let's get started. Well, let's talk about who this is for. This webinar is really aimed at people that are ambitious leaders, someone that would consider themselves a high performer, a business owner, an entrepreneur, or a career professional, people that are not willing to settle for status quo, but that are pushing for that limitless dream, for that limitless capacity. I'm looking to talk to people that are business owners and leaders who are really feeling the pressure to provide, the pressure to create, serve, and keep your business thriving. Visionaries who don't want to stop running, but you just need a minute. I'm talking to high performers who refuse to step into the victim mindset, but you have no space to breathe. You're building and giving and supposedly living the dream, but you spend more time checking in on the business or latest project than with your family. You are making money, but you are exhausted from trying to stay on top of all these things. This is for you. In the next 30 minutes, I'm going to show you exactly how to bust those mythical millionaire habits. You know the ones I'm talking about, that are causing you more stress than serving you. Waking up before the rest of the world, work on your mindset, breathe, exercise for 5 hours a day. You definitely know what I'm talking about. We're going to look at how you can scale your business without adding more hours to your week. Grow your team and equip them. Give 100% to your clients. Stop living for the work and start living for you. How you could even enjoy work-free weekends without the fear of your funnel breaking. We're also going to be looking at how to quiet the chaos in your mind. Be passionate and inspired. Just stop the cycle of exhaustion and stress, being able to let go of the guilt. There is a better way for you to do this. There is a way for you to finally have success, peace, and balance, even if you feel like you've tried everything and nothing has solved it. So here is my promise to you. This is going to be real talk from a real person. I am not, I don't even pretend to be something else or somebody else. You know, after 20 years of leading churches, coaching executives, working for nonprofits, and being a mom of 4 wonderful children, this is not just another declare it until you have it masterclass. This is real talk from a real person who's had those meltdowns, cried behind closed doors, and refused to give in to the victim mindset. This is a hand up and not a handout. This is real rest for real people without compromising your momentum. So tell me something. Does this sound like you, that there just isn't enough time to rest? You know you love your business, your clients, your team, but there is always a fire to put out or an email to answer. I know you don't want to complain. This is what you've prayed for after all, but what you've worked so hard to achieve, this dream, but why is it costing so much more than you were promised? Maybe you're hitting a limit and you know there's a ceiling there, but you just don't have the time to figure it out or even do more mindset work. Perhaps you secretly worry that you're a slave to the business, to the job, to the project, and you will only ever enjoy little snippets of peace and reward for your hard work. More importantly, perhaps you are afraid that the work ethic you're teaching your children is that work comes first and then family, even though you'd never say those words out loud. You've got your go face on constantly. Maybe you know you're counting down to the point of exhaustion and burnout. And what happens if you're unavailable to put out just one more fire? Will it all come crashing down? This is the very thing you've prayed for. So why can't you just get it together and figure this out? This is everything you've invested in. You can't afford to quit, but you know right now that you're just putting one foot in front of the other. What happens when you just can't show up for another call or session or meeting? Are you secretly terrified that this is it? This is the sum of what you've poured yourself into. I know I've definitely been there. And the problem that I discovered was I hadn't made the shifts. The shifts that I'm about to show you, I hadn't applied those until I did, and so many things started to change. You know, these simple 5 steps, they will have you excited to take time off, finally playing that game your children have been begging you about, grabbing that coffee with your BFF, or just simply watching your favorite movie with your spouse or your partner or your friend. And as well as showing you these 5 shifts, I'm going to help self-coach you through these shifts so that you can keep doing it for yourself. And once you've made these shifts, you're going to have time to enjoy the fruit of your hard work without the guilt of who's keeping things running. Your team will love you for not micromanaging. Can I get an amen? From a place of stress or out of fear or anxiety, but giving them space to show initiative and leadership. They're going to be begging you for new responsibilities and a chance to grow. You will be inspired, creative, and excited to try new things, to grow and excel. And your business is going to scale naturally from you stepping into your rest and experiencing your limitless dreams. So who am I? Well, my name, like I said, is Taryn Dube. First and foremost, I'm a wife and a mom of 4 incredible kids, 2 under the age of 13 and 2 teenagers. So we keep quite busy. I am a certified Maxwell leadership coach, which is my absolute drive and passion. I have been a pastor with my husband for nearly 18 years in a few countries. I'm also a DISC behavioral style consultant, which just means that I get to like people's personalities and profile them is an easy way to say it. I've also been an entrepreneur and business owner of multiple businesses over the last 20 years. I've coached hundreds of clients, from young professionals to CEOs of multi-million-dollar companies, a corporate communication expert. I love working with corporations and not-for-profits. I've also been the lead coach and director of operations for one of North America's leading debt freedom coaching companies for 5 years prior to this. So what do? Well, I specialize in serving high achievers like you who are building and scaling to make an impact in lives, to learn the right way to rest without compromising your momentum or having fear of burnout. So let's jump in. Let's go ahead and look at these 5 shifts. Like I said, I want to make the most of your time. So here we go. Shift number 1. I hope you're ready for this. Shift number 1. You know, I was so excited to get promoted from administrator to director of operations. This was about 5 or 6 years ago. The validation was so much more than I was expecting. I loved the paycheck. I loved the opportunity to serve. It was so much more than a job. And there was a strong entrepreneurial and leadership demand in my life. We were still running a church at that time and raising the 4 children. My husband had gone back to school, and I loved what I did. I was so happy. But one day I found myself having a panic attack in the middle of Walmart. I was frozen, crying, shaking, and unable to move. I had 2 young children with me, not knowing what to do, except one of them had the sense to take my phone and call their dad. I knew something had to give. I had spent nights sobbing because I could feel the dissonance of loving the challenge, the grind, the creativity pull, and then that emotional, physical, and mental exhaustion. I knew that deep breathing before each call or waiting for that high from coaching to kick in was not the healthiest way to live. Once I stopped pushing and stopped fighting for more, I was sitting with my teen daughter. I was trying to catch up on all the school admin I had missed, and I was said to her, could you just please be patient with me? I've missed out on a lot from all this overwork and I'm trying to catch up. And her response was, Mommy, we've missed out on having you too. Or my little 6-year-old saying to me, Mommy, do you have another call tonight? Because I can't wait until tomorrow to read that story, but it's okay. It was during this time that I started implementing these 5 shifts out of necessity, and I wouldn't be here today if I hadn't. Okay, so the very first shift that we need to look at is the idea that your capacity isn't set. Often we feel like I am at my max. I have spoken to so many clients who are like, Taryn, I can't do another thing. I was just in an organization this week and the people were saying to me, it feels like, the managers are trying to add more and more and more onto our plates. And they feel like they're at their limit. I just can't take any more. A lot of people may have even settled for a level of achievement that is possible for them, so it's like, well, this is it. This is as far as I can go. This is as much as I can do. And others have given up on the idea that their capacity can grow. But I need to tell you again, your capacity isn't set. You have the ability to learn new things. You do. You know that if push came to shove right now, you would be able to learn new things. And I want to let you know that capacity is like skin. If we can change the way we think about it, one of the best ways we can think about it is like skin. It can be super stretchy. Maybe not always great with stretch marks, but it can be super stretchy. We're so often taught and bombarded with abundance mindset with our finances. But what if we began to look at our capacity through an abundance mindset? Because as we begin to be aware of what our limitations are, that evokes change within us. So if I'm like, these are the things that I feel are limiting me from increasing my capacity, now that I'm aware of them, what is it that I need to do to make that change? Because we don't know what we don't know. We could just keep going on until we stop to think about it. We just keep going on. But if we can accept, hey, my capacity actually isn't set, what is it that I feel is limiting me? Then I'm able to move out of my strength zone, out of my comfort zone, and get into a space where I can actually change the limitations or the mindset beliefs that I have around my capacity. So what I want to ask you today is, so what is the top belief you are currently facing around your capacity? Is it, I just don't have enough time? Is it, I'm at my max? Is it, there's just too many people that want from me? Have a look at those beliefs and ask yourself, how is that belief serving me? Is it possible for me to change that belief? What do I need to believe in order for that not to be true? Let's jump into shift number 2. So shift number 2 is change doesn't have to be drastic. Often when we think about, changing things, whether it's like going on a diet or changing jobs or, changing projects, it has to be this huge change. But just being able to shift our focus from our weaknesses to our strengths, that can bring an incredible abundance in our capacity. If we're like, I can't do this, I can't do this, I can't do this, but I shift my focus to what can I do? What can I control? Then I suddenly have the ability to change things. In Atomic Habits, written by James Clear, he talks about the 1% change. So just what is one small change that we can make? And those small changes compounds, like consistency compounds, your interest compounds, the same with the changes that we make in our lives. What is one small change? It doesn't have to be drastic. We can often want to throw the baby out with the bathwater, scrap everything and start again, but it could just be a small thing. So do you need to change your entire situation? Or how about looking at changing the way you respond to the situation? Change is a choice. If we're going to make a change, we have to see that change is necessary. You and I both know we wouldn't be where we are today if cultures hadn't changed, if laws hadn't changed, if belief systems hadn't changed. And so we want to be able to evaluate, like, what are your values? What are the things you're holding on to? Are those serving you? What do you want to be aligned with? How is perhaps maybe you feel incongruent because you are aligned to something that is not the same as your values, and that's what might be causing the stress for you. I want you to have a look at, how do I become more aware of my potential? What are the problem solving techniques that I have within me, or am I just living in constant crisis mode? What are the changes I can make? What can I choose to do today to get me out of this place of crisis, to get me out of this place of overwhelm? So I want to tell you a little bit about Jen. Jen is an incredible person. I've known her for several years now and been coaching her for a little bit. And Jen's company experienced exponential and explosive growth in just 6 months. But last year, she was traveling for over 3 months, up and down, all around North Africa, missions trip to Africa, North America, and a missions trip to Africa. And when she came to me, she was exhausted, frustrated, and on the verge of burnout. Burnout was something she had known before, and she definitely didn't want to go back. And there was a lot of change happening every single day, but so many out of her old habits and thought patterns were trying to keep up. And I remember us having one very distinctive coaching call, and it just took minutes for us to discuss, and we were able to eliminate the chaos that Jen was feeling and allowed her to identify exactly what specific change was needed. The next day, she was back in the driving seat, no longer being dictated to by her emotions or by her exhaustion, but now she was taking charge of her own space. So what is the 1% change that you can take today to identify? What is 1% change that you can identify today to impact your bigger picture? Shift number 3 is about action. Action is key. One of my coaches, John Maxwell, he says that an unintentional life accepts everything and does nothing. An intentional life embraces only the things that will add to the mission of significance. So if we are not being intentional about our actions, we're just going to go with the flow. We're going to be dictated to. Everything else is going to tell us what to do instead of us telling our actions what to do. Another one of my coaches, I was on a call with him this week, and he said this amazing statement that complexity is the enemy of execution. When you're feeling overwhelmed and exhausted, you can often overanalyze the actions that you need to take. So how can we simplify? What is one simple step? That's why I like to ask at the end of every shift, what is one thing? What is one action? What is one thought? So how can we simplify what it is you want to do? How can you bring it down to the lowest common denominator? Good habits make time your ally. Your outcomes are a lagging measure of your habits. Woo, that one hits hard, right? Like, what are the habits that I'm doing on a daily basis that is causing overwhelm, that's losing time, that's making me feel stressed? How can I bring it down to its simplest form so I can change my habits? And if you want a great book on changing your habits, Atomic Habits, James Clear, excellent book. It could really, really help you in that area. Another, action is we need to take inspired action, like thoughtful action. Not everything we face can be changed, but nothing can be changed unless we face it. And we don't have to tackle every single thing that comes in front of us. We can have discernment and, inspiration. Like I said, they take inspired action of which ones we need to face. The secret of success is absolutely in our daily actions. They're either going to make us or break us. We're going to be stuck in the rut and not get anywhere, not meet anyone, not change anything, or we get to change what we do. And one of the easiest ways to do this is a pattern interrupt for me, especially for those of you that work from home or you work remotely, you're online all the time, is just get out the house. Break break the habit of just sitting and being overwhelmed by what's happening. I find taking a walk allows my brain to just decompress. So comment below in the chat, what one action are you committing to take within the next 24 hours? I know some of you might be watching this at like 2 a.m. So what one action are you committing to take within the next 24 hours? I want to hear from you below. Shift number 4, you need to start living in your zone of genius. So what is your zone of genius? It's living in your gift zone. It's staying in your strengths. Obviously, there are things that we have to do that are not like our strengths, and we still have to be able to do them. But we can be very particular about when we're doing them, how much time and effort we're giving to those, and how much we can leverage out to other people that are gifted. That's what teamwork is for. We're all uniquely gifted. When we're working in our gift zone or zone of genius, it energizes us. When we're out of our strength zone, it can absolutely drain us. You also need to understand, like, what is your power personality? If you are a task-oriented person or a people-oriented person, that is really going to determine how you rest. It's going to determine how you recharge, how you get inspired, how you handle stress. So it's really important to know what are those important parts. This is you. Like, you get to decide how to deal with the overwhelm. You get to decide how much you want to pursue your dreams and what you want to do with that and how to balance these things. But if you don't understand you as a person, you don't understand your strengths, you don't understand your personality, then somebody else is going to make those decisions for you. So it's not a cookie cutter recipe, guys. There's no like perfect way to rest where it's like, oh, meditate for 5 minutes or take a bath or take a walk or those things. It doesn't work for everybody. You have to find what is the specific way for you to rest. Like I mentioned at the beginning, the behavioral disc style, is one of my favorite things to do, and it's a very, very easy way for you to understand a little bit about who you are and what some of your personality traits might be. So you have outgoing or reserved people, you have task-oriented or people-oriented people. And usually people are a blend of these 4 basic sets. So if you're a D, you can see that it spells D-I-S-C, so disc. Ds are dominant, driven, Is are inspirational, friendly, S's are stable and steady, and C's are competent and correct. But a C would be a task-oriented and reserved person, whereas an I is outgoing and people-oriented. So just depending on what type of personality style you have can really impact the way you receive stress and the way you receive rest. So what are some of the personality style stresses? Have a look at this list, because if you are feeling one of these things, that's an indicator that you're stressed, which, hello, you're watching the webinar. I know it must be there a little bit, but also be like, oh, I'm feeling stressed because I feel like I've lost control of the project, or I feel like I've lost control of my clients, or I feel like I've had to be taking orders from other people and I've got no ability to make my own decisions. If you're an I style like myself, maybe you're feeling the stress because you're isolated, or you've been excluded, or you haven't had the ability to express yourself. And so that adds on to your stress. It's like someone poking you constantly if you're unable to do these things. For S style, if you're in an environment that has a lot of conflict, that is going to add a lot of stress to your life. And if you can remember what I said in shift number 1 about awareness, and you can understand that your capacity isn't set, but maybe it's the conflict in the environment that's creating you to feel the stress, as opposed to your capacity being full. Or with a C style, if you don't have clear parameters or expectations of what you're supposed to be doing, that can create stress for you, as opposed to there's too much for me to do. No, it's not that it's too much for you to do. You might just not have a very clear set of what you're supposed to be doing. While there's stresses, there's still motivators. So what are some ways that you can immediately begin to motivate yourself depending on your style? If you're a D style, my first go-to for D styles are find a competition. Make it a healthy competition. Simplify it. For I styles, it's just get with people. Just get with people. If you can just meet some people, have a little bit of a social break, that'll motivate you almost instantly. If you're an S style, keep the goal out in front. Like bring it down to its simplest form. Keep the goal out in front and create some sort of routine for yourself. So if you're a C style, you may want to map it out, get a whiteboard. My husband has his whiteboard and he loves to just sit there and put all his thoughts out on paper and create a succinct plan for himself to follow. And that just helps him. It helps him get measurable actions that he can take. So I just want to encourage you that you have these abilities to identify your stresses and then find the things that motivate you. I want to tell you a little bit about Katie. Katie is one of my oldest friends, and she came to me a few months ago and was like, Taryn, I see what you're doing and I need help. She's a full-time teacher, a mom of 3 beautiful daughters under the age of 10. She's currently building an incredible national curriculum on racism, diversity, and inclusion that is for children. So being able to teach children on these things. And then she was also moving from one province or state to another. Katie felt like she never had time for herself. She could feel the pressure of what was happening around her. It was coming out in her parenting and in her marriage. And after we'd been working together for a few weeks, she texted me and she's like, Taryn, this is better than therapy. She'd been going to therapy for so long, and she was just saying, I can't believe the shifts that I've been able to have. I'm so excited about my dream. I'm excited about my capacity. We made small tweaks in her day so that she was able to start running. Here you can see the picture of her. She's on top of Table Mountain in Cape Town in South Africa, and able to run and just enjoy that lifestyle that she wants. She's now meeting developers for her business. They found new schools for the girls, and she's finding time to do what she wants to do because that's her choice of motivation. So this is it, guys. This is shift number 5. This is exactly what Katie did. She asked for help. We can only do so much for ourselves. You know, in everyone's life, there comes a time when we can't do it alone. We have to do it with the help of others. And so often, so many people just accept whatever environment they find themselves in. You know, other people say, well, this is just the way I am, regardless of who they're hurting or who is being impacted while they bulldoze through their stress and burnout. And there are just so many consequences for themselves as well as for people around them if they don't get to ask for help. So what does asking for help do? Well, number one, it helps you eliminate the stress of feeling alone. One of the biggest stress factors out there, Gallup did a survey on this, and they said one of the biggest stress factors that have come out of the past few years was that sense of isolation, of there's just nobody else around me. Asking for help allows you to get real-time help and guidance, not like after the fact or when it's too late, when you're trying to pick up all the pieces, but actually, hey, I can identify that I feel overwhelmed right now. Please help me understand where I should be looking, what triggers I should be looking at, what limiting beliefs I should be looking at. Maybe I've taken on more than I should have in this particular project, or, maybe it's just the weather, whatever it is. But asking for help is can and always will be a big step. It's the most important step. You want somebody who's able to have a unique understanding of your space. Like I said at the beginning, this is not cookie cutter. You know, when we talk about the rest, it's not just cookie cutter space. It's like, who are you uniquely? What makes you tick? What makes you stressed? What makes you inspired? And being able to ask for help with somebody who knows that about you is extremely important. I know from my own personal experience that who you surround yourself with matters. I've been in environments where people are super positive and exciting and, you know, rah, rah, rah. But when I needed help, they didn't have the ability to help. And they just do like, oh, the mission, you know, the vision, we just got to get this done. Like, you can rest later. And so when I was okay, they were great. But when I wasn't okay, they just didn't know what to do with it. And they didn't know how to help. So who you surround yourself with matters. You want people who are not afraid to speak the truth, people who are not afraid to bring out the truth. You want people who have the ability to give you borrowed belief. So there will be times when you can't believe in yourself and you're so tired and you're exhausted or you've lost sight of the dream. And the right coach is able to say, you know what, I believe in you. Let me believe in you. Borrow my belief until you can get to a place of being able to believe in yourself. Someone who's not afraid to call out the BS, right? Like, just either it's your belief system or it's the other BS of, really, is this really what you believe? Come, let's find the truth for you. Let me help you find the truth so that you can move forward, so that you can have that limitless shift from overwhelm. And that's what I wanted to show you today. So what do you need to do? Well, in order to win, we're going to break that capacity ceiling. We're going to take inspired action. Remember, I said to you, what action do you want to take today? I want you to take the action of asking for help. I want you to take the action of being able to choose your change and learning how to use your unique motivator, because it's the motivator that is going to keep you pushing for your dream. It's the motivator that's going to compel you to get up every single day to do these things, right? You have the choice today. You can either stay stuck or you can shift with the information that I've given you. But how else can I help you? Well, I want to help you to start living, to have the ability to step into your limitless dreams, to have the ability to step into your limitless capacity. And so my team and I have set aside some time in the next 48 hours. We would love to speak to you personally about how you can apply these ideas to your lifestyle starting today. So whatever your biggest challenges are, let me tell you, I've seen it. Either I've lived it, I've earned it, I've overcome it, and I know how to help you. We have seen everything. There's nothing that could shock us or stump us. So I want to help you understand your unique stresses. I want to help you set up a step-by-step plan to use your zone of genius to work for you and not against you. We're going to help you gain clarity and strategy on your passions and your priorities. And what's the cost? This call is absolutely free. Let's make sure that this is for you, right? This might not be for everyone. And I got to let you know that the people that I'm looking for, that I desperately want to work with to help you get to that place of limitless dreams, these are people that are growth focused people, absolutely refuse to give into the victim mindset. I also want to work with people that are not afraid of change and are so absolutely ready to take inspired action. If that's you, you need to book a free session right now. You can click below. The link is right there. It's a free session, one-on-one with myself or my team, and we really want to help you. So why do I do free sessions? Well, first of all, I am a person of value and I value people and I love to add value to them. I know it's a bit of a tongue twister, but also we as people are more apt to change because somebody else believes in us. And I may not have met you yet, but I do so believe in you. I love to be able to help people. So let's see if we can help. If we're not a fit for each other, that's okay. You still will have received so much value in the strategies and in the awareness that you would have gained from that call. So please go ahead, book a call with me right now with my team. The link is right below. You don't have to believe me. There are lots of other people that I've worked with, as you can see on the screen, people that I've done trainings with, that I've worked with for their dreams, like just getting into the spaces. They will let you know that what we're doing is a great thing and you can be a part of it too. So if you're ready to find the right way to rest without compromising your momentum or having fear of burnout, and to start living your dream instead of being a slave to it, please book a call with my team today. We really want to talk to you. I will see you on the other side, and I am so grateful for your time today. Have a wonderful rest of your day. I can't wait to talk to you on the call.